Asterisk at 9:32 a.m. this morning. The United States Senate stopped functioning as a legislative body and became something else entirely. Voices were raised, doors were shut, phones were taken away, and for the first time in modern American history, a sitting president is facing a credible impeachment threat not from the opposition party, but from inside his own ranks. What you are watching unfold right now is not political theater. It is a systemic rupture. A party turning on its own leader because it believes that survival now depends on removal. This is the moment when loyalty collapses and fear takes over. And if you want to understand how Donald Trump reached the point where Republican senators are openly discussing impeachment, you need to understand one thing very clearly. This did not start today. It has been building for weeks. And now it is accelerating faster than anyone expected. Asterisk, let's start with what happened inside the Senate chamber this morning. According to multiple reporters on the floor, the Republican caucus meeting scheduled for 30 minutes lasted nearly 2 hours. That never happens. When senators finally emerged, several refused to speak to the press. Others gave carefully scripted statements that all used the same phrase: serious constitutional concerns. That language is not accidental. It is impeachment language. It is the kind of phrase senators use when they are laying the groundwork for something drastic, while pretending they are not there yet. Asterisk, so what changed? Why now? Asterisk, the answer begins with a quiet revolt that started last week and exploded today. On Monday, 3 senior Republican senators confirmed, off the record, that draft articles of impeachment are already circulating among Senate legal staff. Not written by Democrats, written by Republicans. Narrow, tightly constructed, designed to survive judicial scrutiny and public backlash. The focus is not ideology. It is conduct, abuse of power, obstruction, use of presidential authority for personal political retaliation. Charges that members of Trump's own party now believe are no longer defensible. Asterisk, and this is where the situation becomes historic. Asterisk, never before has a modern president faced a realistic impeachment threat driven primarily by his own party while still in office. Nixon came close, but that was after years of bipartisan collapse. What we are seeing here is faster, sharper, and more volatile. This is a party deciding that the risk of keeping Trump is now greater than the risk of removing him. Asterisk, the immediate trigger was the Senate chaos surrounding Trump's latest executive actions. Over the past 10 days, Trump has issued a series of directives that Republican leadership privately describes as reckless escalation. These include unilateral trade penalties, threats to defund states that refuse compliance, and public attacks on sitting Republican senators by name. That last part is crucial. Power in Washington depends on fear, but also on restraint. Trump has abandoned restraint. Asterisk, last Thursday night, Trump used a closed donor call to single out 5 Republican senators, accusing them of sabotaging the country and promising to end their careers. 2 of those senators sit on committees that control impeachment procedure. One of them has already survived a Trump-backed primary challenge. Intimidation failed, and when intimidation fails, authority collapses. Asterisk, by Friday, internal polling from the Republican National Committee showed something alarming. Trump's support among registered Republicans had dropped below 60%. That is not catastrophic on its own, but the trend is, independent voters have completely collapsed away from him. Suburban Republicans are signaling disengagement, and donors are freezing contributions. When the money stops, conversations change. Asterisk, Saturday was the turning point. A private meeting took place between senior Republican leadership and constitutional lawyers who normally work behind the scenes. According to 2 attendees, the question was blunt: if we do nothing, how bad does this get? The answer was worse than anyone expected. Ongoing investigations, court rulings that cannot be delayed, evidence that will become public whether Republicans like it or not. The conclusion was devastating. Trump is not insulated anymore. The legal walls are closing in, and Senate Republicans are directly exposed. Asterisk, Sunday night, word began to leak. Not officially, strategically, anonymous confirmations. Impeachment is being discussed. Options are on the table. That is Washington code for preparation. And by Monday morning, the Senate was in open disorder. Asterisk, here is what most people do not understand about impeachment threats from within a party. They are not emotional. They are mathematical. Senators are counting votes, counting donors, counting court dates, counting how many seats they will lose if they stay silent. This is not about morality. It is about damage control. Asterisk, one senior Republican aide put it this way: we are not trying to punish him. We are trying to survive him. And survival is now the dominant instinct. Trump's response has only accelerated the collapse. Within hours of the Senate chaos, Trump unleashed a barrage of statements attacking Republican leadership. He accused them of betrayal. He called the Senate weak. He suggested that anyone supporting impeachment is working against the nation. This is not the language of control. This is the language of panic. Presidents who feel secure do not lash out at their own party. They negotiate. Trump is not negotiating anymore. Asterisk, behind closed doors, Senate Republicans are discussing a narrow impeachment strategy, not broad, sweeping charges, but specific, document-backed violations that can be defended to conservative voters. The goal is not spectacle, it is legitimacy. If impeachment happens, it will be fast, controlled, and framed as unavoidable. Asterisk, the numbers matter. Democrats do not need to lead this. They only need to follow. If a core group of Republicans moves first, the dam breaks. And according to multiple sources, that core group already exists. They are waiting for one thing: cover. Public justification, a moment when the narrative shifts from betrayal to necessity. That moment may arrive within days. The Senate calendar is unforgiving. Hearings are scheduled. Legal deadlines are approaching. Evidence will surface with or without political permission. Republicans understand that if Democrats control the narrative, the damage will be worse. This is about seizing control of the collapse before it consumes the entire party. Asterisk, so what happens next? Asterisk, there are three paths. First, Trump backs down. He pulls back the executive actions, stops attacking senators, tries to reset. Possible, but unlikely. Trump has never retreated under pressure. Second, the party freezes. Talk stall. No impeachment. Temporary stability. But the legal clock keeps ticking. That option only delays the inevitable. Third, impeachment moves forward. Quietly at first, then suddenly, and the country wakes up to a Senate trial driven by Republicans who have decided they cannot afford another month of chaos. Asterisk, that third option is no longer theoretical. Asterisk, this is why today matters. This is why the Senate felt chaotic. Institutions reveal their stress before they break. What you saw today was stress. Open, visible, undeniable. Asterisk. Donald Trump is no longer fighting Democrats. He is fighting time, math, and his own party's fear of collapse. That is the most dangerous position any president can occupy. Asterisk, what happens next will define not just Trump's future, but the future of the Republican Party itself. Because once impeachment becomes thinkable inside a party, it becomes unstoppable. Asterisk, this is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the most volatile political countdown in modern American history. And the Senate knows it. Asterisk, stay watching. Because the next move will not be loud. It will be procedural. And by the time the public realizes what is happening, the decision may already be irreversible.